What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today, I'm really excited to get into this product called Livedocs. This is an AI data analysis tool. They've been around for a little while. The product looks really well built, well constructed. Looks like it has a ton of functionality. The question, of course, is always, does the homepage make a compelling case for the product and convince buyers that they actually want to use this thing and pay for it? So if you're new here, my name is Xander. I run Kether Media Group, where we help growth stage SaaS companies on messaging, positioning, content systems that will help them scale their business and make more money. Now, before we get into Livedocs, there's a lot to talk about, but I just want to share with you a framework that I've been using on audits and is kind of the core of KMG, and that is signal first analysis. Now, it sounds a little abstract, a little out there. It's actually really simple. It ties back into a lot of the concepts you probably already know about if you're familiar with marketing or copywriting. So let me run through that just real quick. There are 5 things. The first signal we look at is product signal. All right, really simple. What does the product do? What are the outcomes that it's going to give somebody who uses it, who implements it? Number 2 is the buyer. So we're getting into buyer psychology. What are buyers thinking about? What are they looking for? What's the experience that they have with their current tools, their current workflow? What are the beliefs that they have about products like this? Fears, hesitations, desires, all that stuff. Now, number 3 is market signal. So what's happening in the market more broadly that would bring a buyer to this page and potentially even consider it in the first place? So right now we're kind of at the peak of the AI hype. People have different thoughts about AI. Doesn't really provide the enterprise value that it's hyped up to be. Is this something that people actually want to use at their companies and not just the top tech companies, right, for coding, but for all kind of enterprise use cases? So in finance, in insurance, in taxes, in marketing, on sales teams, all these different things, they're all trying to use the AI. They're trying to get the most of it, but maybe they're just not getting it yet. Then signal number 4 is super important. It's the proof signal. That's any evidence that you can show that this product works, that people are using it, that they're liking it, that they're getting a return on their investment from it. And then number 5 is a little more out there. It's the culture signal. Okay. So that's looking at the bigger shift that the product is sort of riding on, where they're making their case. And what's the bigger narrative around these types of tools? And that's really interesting right now with everything that's going on with AI. So with that out of the way, let's get right into it on Livedocs. Number 1, remember, is the product signal. Okay. Now, at first glance, Livedocs kind of comes across as a jack of all trades. It looks like they can do a little bit of everything. The header just asks an open-ended question. What do you want to work on today? That could be anything in the world. In the prompt examples it shows us, talks about all these different data analysis use cases. Right here we see sales and revenue, marketing, analytics. We scroll down, we see things for, coding tools, for business intelligence, for finance, looking at A/B testing, stuff for supply chains and logistics. So this is really trying to do a lot. And so it's a little counterintuitive because on one hand you think, why wouldn't somebody just want a product that does everything, right? But when it comes to marketing and positioning, you're fighting a losing battle there, especially when a product is relatively unknown and people are just finding out about it for the first time. So I would really suggest for the makers of Livedocs to find a really high impact use case, something that their users are getting value out of right now, and showcase that at the top of the page, highlight that as a use case instead of just lumping everything in here together. It just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I can't really focus on anything in particular. Now for signal 2, when we're looking at the buyer personas and buyer attitudes and this is where we want to start thinking about the human element. So how are people using data analytics tools every day in the workplace now? What are the frustrations that they have? What stresses them out? What is the nightmare scenario where everything kind of goes wrong and falls apart and your data gets messed up? And then on the other hand, what's the dream scenario where everything works perfectly and you're saving time and you're moving fast and you're getting things done with no friction? These are the kinds of ideas that we want to look at when we're talking about the buyer signals. Now let's think about signal 3, which is the market. So what types of tools are people using now for data analysis? What's getting them the result? What do those workflows actually look like? How are they moving from step to step and handing off things between team members and moving things up the chain in management? So really, when it comes to market, we want to think about, why is this tool important now? We want to think about the wave that this is riding on, but maybe we want to see some call outs from other tools. How does this stack up against the tools that people are already using? How is Livedocs different? What makes it unique? So maybe they want to emphasize the fact that this is a conversational data analytics tool, and that's different from how things used to be, and that's the new wave. So with the market signal, it's all about the context. Where does this thing fit into the broader market? And also in terms of a timeline, looking forward to how is technology changing and where does this fit in? Now, signal 4 is proof. Again, super important. Ideally, we want to see testimonials. We want to see logos of businesses that are already using this thing, quotes from real people, hard stats, hard data. Here's how they saved X amount of time using A, B, and C tools. And I understand that that's a challenge for a lot of early stage companies, but there's always a way to prove that your product works. Show me some kind of result on accuracy improvements or time saves or efficiency gains, or ROI is obviously the best one. And especially right now, because there's a lot of hesitation and reluctance to jump on the AI thing. People are still trying to figure out how to use it. So the proof piece of this is like crucial right now. Then for signal 5, which is culture, maybe call out the fact that the data analyst as a role is changing in all these different companies. A lot of the data analyst tasks that they typically had, they're being absorbed into other roles, and the whole structure of these companies is changing. And that ties into how we're viewing the new way of working as a whole and how that's impacting our world and our society more broadly. So that kind of stuff is harder to communicate maybe on a homepage. Maybe it would work better in some content, but that needs to be a piece of this, because that'll show that the people behind the software are really on the ball. They understand what's happening in the business, in the world at large. And it just makes a product like Livedocs seem so much more authentic and significant, and that can help them stand out a lot. But once again, just looking at all those 5 signals, it just feels a little bit thin on this page. I'm not getting a ton of personality from this. They get a little bit more deeper into different use cases here, and they do have a comparison section and some built out documentation. So all that's good. But the homepage does a lot of heavy lifting for a tool like this. You want to spark the interest of a first-time visitor. You want to make them want to find out more. Some more personality, some more human presence on this page, maybe a video from the founder, an introduction, some faces, some names, some quotes, some motion. Even down here at the bottom of this page, this is one of the stronger pieces of the page where they say start analyzing your data in minutes. I mean, at least there they're talking about a tangible time save. It's a quick activation with this product. We just want to see a lot more of that in a lot of different ways across those 5 signals that I talked about. So that wraps it up for Livedocs. Hope you liked the video. If you want to see more stuff like this, I'm doing videos all the time. I'm posting on X, LinkedIn, wherever. Follow me here, follow me there. I'll see you next time.